For this project, I'm doing Imagine by John Lennon. Lennon was able to have a huge impact on so many lives with his music. Just a brief artist biography is John Lennon was born on October 9th, 1940 in England and died on December 9th, 1980. Lennon lived to be 40 years old. Lennon had a major impact on not only music but society and the world. He was big on anti-war protests. Imagine is one of John Lennon's most influential songs because this song allowed him to show his true feelings on war. Lennon was big on wanting unity and peace for all. Lennon's songs Lennon's song was also big for the anti-Nixon protests because of Nixon's contribution to the war at that time. Since 2005, the song Imagine has been played every year during the ball drop in Times Square. Imagine had such a major impact on many people that Elton John performed it in his world tour in 1980. In 1967, Lennon appeared on an anti-war comedy called How I Won the War. This was his only appearance in the non-Beatles full-length film. He made other anti-war songs such as Give Peace a Chance, which shows that Lennon was huge on peace and unity and one for everybody. He didn't want war, he didn't want anyone to fight. Lennon was also a part of one of the most influential bands in history, which is the Beatles. Imagine was by far his best-selling solo of his career. Music and war can be referenced to the Old Testament and the Bible, where Gideon's men blew a 300-shot ferret, which are ram's horns, while marching to battle. Roman's legion have used similar instruments, and European armies added drums and trumpets to the music. During combat, there has typically been military music being played. In the 17th century, the genre of instrumental battle works and vocal was developed. Many songs have also been written in response, remembrance, or protesting the war, which Imagine is the main example of. General analysis of the piece. Imagine was inspired by Cloud Piece, which is an instructional poem from spring of 1963 that appeared in Yoko Ono's book Grapefruit. Lennon admitted later on that Ono should have been given co-credit for the song because without the poem, Lennon would have never written Imagine. In Imagine, the part that means the most to me is you may say that I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you join us and the world will be one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. This tiny section of Imagine really shows the true meaning behind the song. The lyrics ask the listener to imagine a world free from class, religion, or political boundaries, to give up on discrimination based on ethnicity, social class, religion, or nationalism. It also encourages people to become less attached to material possessions. The song spreads a message of the importance of unity and just all around love. Lennon wants everyone to have love for each other. He doesn't want fights, he doesn't want wars or anything, as I said before. There are some lyrics in the song that encourage peace and unity between all. The song was written in 1971. The 1970s was a time where things were a discourse on racism within America towards the end of the Vietnam War. People were in a state of distrust and confusion. The purpose of the song was an anthem to everyone in a humanistic way, where everyone was welcome and there was no worry of color or anything in that sense. Everyone was one. Overall, Imagine is just simply a call for world peace. The main audience for the song was really everyone around the world. Lennon wanted to make a song that everyone could enjoy and appreciate. Because of the Beatles' big name, it was easy for Lennon to reach out to not only his fans, but also people who were fans of the Beatles. People all around the world like the Beatles and listen to them. In general, Lennon and the Beatles are free-minded people and generally have a natural care for humanity. Someone can look at a river and imagine a bridge being built across it to reach the other side, and it can be built in a matter of months. So why can't people imagine world peace and that be possible? When you really think about this and listen to me in a song, that it just creates a deeper image for somebody. Because if a bridge can be built in a matter of months, Lennon is trying to say that world peace, and all that comes with that can be possible. We only have to put our mind to it and try. The stanza form that the song was written in is 3 6-line stanzas, as well as 4 2-line stanzas. First, second, and fourth are all sestet, and the third and last stanzas are all quatrain. The first stanza starts out by saying, "Imagine there's no heaven if you try." This means he isn't concerned about what is going to happen in the future, but yet he's trying to focus on what we can do to help today. The second stanza, Lennon says, "Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do so." He's trying to tell us that if there's no country and religion, there'll be peace and no fights. I don't completely agree with this part of the song, personally, because I feel as though we can still have religion and have world peace. I don't feel as though religion is a problem. The fourth stanza says, "Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can." He's saying here that with no hunger, greed, or possessions, the world would be more peaceful. Finally, in the third and fifth stanza, Lennon's whole point is to show that he's not the only person who believes this, that there are others out there like him. In Imagine, the repetition, "Imagine all people," is repeated 3 times. I believe he did this because he really wanted to have the people who listen to this song imagine all people as one. Anti-theist. In the song, the only 2 words that really contrast are heaven and hell. Imagine there's no heaven, it's easy if you try, no hell below us, above us, just sky. This is contradicted because heaven and hell are just complete opposites, but he wants people to imagine there's no heaven, there's no hell, it's just us here on earth. Tone. Lennon mainly creates a proactive environment when the song comes on. As I said before, he wants us to imagine the world as a better place, and he wants us to truly believe that if we put in the effort, we can make our world a beautiful place. The background music in the song is soft, which allows for a greater effect and meaning to the song. Quick syntactic analysis of the song is the tranquil background with drums and piano. Lennon repeats "imagine" and all the people to emphasize unity. The M rhyme on lines 2 and 4 of every stanza. Tone is aesthetically pleasing. Imagine has the simplest lyric and the simplest lyrics in rock music. Written in the most basic key, which is a C major. Imagine is written in the most regular, even beat that exists in music. 4 out of 4. There are 4 beats to every measure, and a quarter note receives 1 beat. All the elements of the song work together to create the simplicity of the song, the same way Lennon's asking listeners to live as one. Some of the chords in the song are the majority of the chords being played are the C and F chords. Beginning chords of 1 to 4 sound melancholy. Lennon was trying to show a dark time with this part of the song. In this dark time, Lennon is trying to describe to us that we don't have to live in a period like this again. Imagine has background music that plays for the majority of the song. There are more than 8 chords being played, but yet you can still hear the repetition of chords 1 to 4. John Lennon played vocals and piano during the song. Klaus Voormann played the bass guitar. Alan White had the drums, and the Flux fiddlers had the strings. The instrument structure. Electric guitar. You could tell it's an electric because an acoustic guitar has a ringing bell-like quality, while an electric guitar has a sound that can range from a round and warm tone to harsh and shrill wail, depending on the implication of other recording effects. The piano is a Steinway piano Model Z. Lennon taught himself how to play the piano. He didn't want to have to play the piano a lot in the song because he had Nicky Hopkins also do a little bit of it as well. The bass guitar is used, as I said before. Bass guitar, he used a 5-finger technique on the guitar during the song, which he was able to master throughout his career. Drums, Lennon used a variety of sound sources for his songs, such as radio sound and effects and resonators, and even his own heartbeat. He also used flutes, harps, and strings. Drums in the song are soothing and are played in a slow tempo. The drums stay at the same pace for most of the song. The piano plays the C and F chords right after one another, the song begins to create a calm scene. So just a quick timestamp analysis of the piece. At 47-48 seconds, the piano tripet is what really defines the song. So much of it is straightforward and 4/4 time signature. The little fill helps round it out. At 55 seconds, he starts to sing. The fact that the voice is very next to the instrument, nothing less other than the piano, for accompanying it, help pouts out focus of the lyrics themselves. The song is entirely lyrically driven, so the trick is how to add enough instruments without making the listener focus on rather than the words, but the fact that they want them to focus on the meaning of the words and the trumpets and the piano and everything that's playing at that time. At a minute 18, we expect a tripelt because that's a pattern that has been established so far in the song. But instead, the piano keeps going with its normal rhythm and drums and introduce themselves as a sonic element with a little fill. At a minute 20, the drums actually start to groove. At a minute 20 to 26, the piano chords do a walk down and has a feeling of lowering, has some minor and tonality, which makes 127 pop so much more when it switches chords. At 130, instruments stop and sustain the chords while John adds his vocal fill, putting the focus back onto the voice and keeping it interesting. From 133, there's a new instrument introduced. Sounds like strings but could be a keyboard or synthesizer. It gives the original platter that had a bare quality, like the piano, the vox, and the drums, but just a more filled out sound to it than before. At 157 and 158, drum fills help transition to the next section. It gets the audience mentally prepared for the switch. It helps put focus on lyrics, which is the main point of the song. Imagine all people living in peace. At 2 minutes and 11 seconds, we go back from this place where instruments pop out and John does a vocal fill into a new section that we haven't heard yet before. But the most interesting part of this new section actually happens at 2:15, 2:16. With that fourth chord that we haven't heard yet so far in the song, it kind of leads us and puts us on the edge. It's like an unresolved feeling that you get at this point in the song. It resolves itself at 2:21 when he says, "I'm not the only one," but then immediately gives us that change of chord again at 2:22 and 2:23, keeping the sense of building without too much instruments being played, but rather by using chords in such a way to get us to enjoy the song more and understand the meaning. At 2:32, the same drum fill technique is used, but now it goes into a new piano section. The piano does not. The piano does an interesting little transition thing. At 2:36, the music drops right back into an old familiar pattern after having been away from it for a while. From here on out, there's nothing really new that happens. It just follows the same pattern before. That in itself can be talked about. Just because the focus of the song is back onto the words, since we already knew the music at this point. All music melodies have been introduced at this point, and it does not deviate from them for the remainder of the song. That said, the same tropes done before that we can revisit or acknowledge that they happen again and again. But ultimately, it's all about the words. Pick out the key lyrics of the piece and see where they fall in the song and see how much or how little instruments is under them. At 3:01, the drum fill transition happens again. From 3:01 to 3:07, piano walk down happens again. At 3:08, the chord change lifts up. Lifts us up again. At 3:11, it is fascinating little chord, but I'm pretty sure he has done this before in a song. This gives an unresolved sensation. Other instruments besides voice cut out again. At 3:14 to 3:15, instruments pick up back again, and 3:35, the music does a rotando scenario, and it slows everything down.